So how do you want me to start?
Well, basically, we just had, I don't know how to start either.
It's really bright.
Yeah, that's so bright I could start drawing powers from its yellow sun, basically. My name is Ray, and this is my friend Nathan.
Oh, jeez, I was making a stupid face.
Were you?
Do it again.
My face is always stupid, so that's okay. No, I approached Nathan, a couple weeks ago. Actually, he kind of approached me, and I kind of agreed, about doing some vlogs. Am I using that term right? Vlog?
No.
Okay.
It's a vlog.
It's a vlog. Thank you.
We're starting over. We gotta start over.
About doing movie vlogs,
right.
Or at least a podcast, but maybe a vlog or something about movie reviews. I told Nathan that I noticed after I went and saw that abomination that J.J. Abrams did called Star Trek Into Darkness, that most movie, like independent small movie reviewers, they swear a lot. They basically they produce stuff that I couldn't let my 14-year-old niece watch. So
right.
I said, hey, there's a niche there for how about some guys who just talk about the movies that they like, but they don't, they keep it clean,
right?
No swearing, stuff like that. Which shouldn't be hard for us. We're both Christians. We both have families.
Right.
We want to produce something that like I said, that our kid could watch or something like that. But
right.
just me review movies. I told Nathan, and actually he made a good point. Is a lot of times when I say, hey, I went and saw this movie, everyone always asks the same thing. Could I take my kid to see it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something I can take my wife to see? Is my wife, and so that's kind of one of the things that kind of motivated this.
Yeah, I get that question all the time. I mean, every time we've gone to movies together for years now, and every time we go, it's always I have friends asking, could I take my 6-year-old son to see this? Is this something appropriate for my daughter? Even something we've talked a lot about. Is this something appropriate we should take our wives or girlfriends or significant others to? And
my wife gets really angry when I take my girlfriend to the movie. She is very inflexible sometimes like that. So,
but
I love movies. Movies are probably one of my favorite forms of entertainment. I love the cinematic experience. I love the cold. The colder the theater, the better. If you can hang meat, it's great.
Yeah.
But going and spending $28 on popcorn, it's part of the,
Right. Yeah, and Ray's probably the most movie critiqued buff I've ever met in my life. He knows more scenes and information from movies than I care to know, and everyone says that I know the most. So hopefully we can bring a lot of information to the table, a lot of good perspectives. And one of the things that I had talked to Ray originally about when we had kind of started discussing the idea was really the fact of so many times we get concerned with critics out there, with what they say about movies or how they view movies. And we didn't feel it was a good representation just of us, but let alone all of our friends, all of our family members. Right. A good case in point, we were just talking about this the other day, was a movie something like that's kind of epic and classic to everyone, even in the new age today, which would be something like Avengers. Yeah. And the Avengers, I mean, there's so many people that were so hard on the movie and whatnot. And I have a 3-year-old daughter that loves to watch that movie. But the point being is it's a movie for the masses, and just because it's a movie for the masses does not mean it's not a good movie.
Right.
And that's kind of what sparked a lot of our interest in doing something like this, is because we're going to bring perspectives out there for the more common moviegoer. Especially, we enjoy the big-time blockbusters, but at the same time, there's a lot of artsy type movies and things that we'll probably go through that Ray won't. I'll bring them up and watch them. But it's not going to be goofy foreign films that you'd never watch, or they only come on at 3 a.m. in the morning on public access television or something.
Right.
Like
Going
that.
back to the Avengers, I remember reading reviews from real critics, talking about how the movie sucked. Excuse my first harsh language right there. But here's the deal: the Avengers made like $280 million in its first 6 hours. Okay, the movie didn't suck. Okay, it wasn't Schindler's List. Okay, great, I understand.
Right.
But I'm passionate about movies. I love movies. I first started watching movies a lot, I think, when I was in the Air Force. For those of you who don't know, who've maybe never been in the military, when you first get into the military, you are something I like to call poor. Okay, you do not go into the military to make a bunch of money. So one of the cheapest ways to entertain yourself when you're poor in the military is you were able to rent movies on this thing called a VHS tape. Now, for some of you, you have to go back and Google that, but there was a technology called VHS.
He says VHS, he really means beta.
Yeah. Laser disc, something like that. But it was 50 cents to rent a movie. And so that's what me and my friends did. We couldn't afford to go really do anything. About maybe once or twice a month we could afford to go do something, when we first started our career, because you don't make anything when you first start in the military. But we watched tons of movies. And so that's kind of where my passion for, watching movies, really started. That's kind of where I started.
Yeah, and I was to say mine's very similar. It goes back to just being a child. I mean, I was telling my wife the other day, Ashley, we were going through, and I said that myself and my brother Simon, we used to sit there and read the Columbia Publisher House, where it came with the big poster with all the movies and stuff, and we would look through that and dream about the movies that we hadn't seen and talk about how we're going to buy all of them and stuff. And we watched everything you could possibly think of as children, but we had a pretty eclectic mix, and hopefully just with both of our backgrounds in movies, you'll see a lot of the differences in our upbringings with film, but also what it means to each one of us and how we have differing opinions, but at the same time often can find the common ground that'll be relevant hopefully to you guys out there and stuff like that. So I
think also you're not going to see a couple of guys just talking about how they both like each movie. We both we do like a lot of the same things. Like the Avengers, we both love the Avengers. Yeah. But there's gonna be things we disagree on. Hope you'll be able to see a couple different opinions.
Absolutely.
Like I said, he really likes J.J. Abrams, and I wouldn't go walk across the street to put him out with my Joshua Snow cone if he was on fire. So you're gonna see some differing opinions, hopefully, and maybe it'll be something for everyone. But hopefully, somebody will be able to look at this and say, hey, according to these guys, this would be, you could take your 10-year-old son to see this movie, or hey, you should take your wife to see this movie, or don't take your wife to this is a guy's movie. Your wife's not going to enjoy this. Not that all wives are saying.
True, but we will be talking about that because that's a big thing. That we've discussed over the years too. There's stuff out there that we're like, man, I get uncomfortable watching that with my wife, or if I didn't know. I had a friend the other day just talk about movies that had some sex scenes and stuff like that in it. Well, they didn't have any idea that there was even anything like that in the movie. Lo and behold, they're sitting there with their 13-year-old daughter watching this stuff. I mean, a little bit. Yeah. So, hopefully we hit some of that stuff. And like I said, hopefully you guys can find some value in it. And we'll have more information as we come through. We're going to format some of our shows. We'll try to make them interesting. Like Ray said, we're really big on cutting out the cursing and, not being like all these other guys out there that are vlogging, dropping F-bombs every other second or being punk rockers or whatever. I mean, we're going to be pretty straightforward. Two fat guys just talking about movies and hopefully giving you guys some insight and some direction that you can take as you want to take yourself, your families, your wives, your kids out to the movies and enjoy the things that we've been passionate about for so long and spend so much of our own money supporting the arts and stuff like that. Right. So,
like Nathan said, we're both Christians, we're both pretty conservative guys, but that doesn't mean we're just going to go see just G-rated movies,
Right.
But we're not Charlton Heston here. We'll go see movies, outside of that hopefully a broad array of people will want to see and want to hear about before they go see them. So. I guess that's pretty much it for everyone. We're still trying to come up with a title, a name for this grand experience of ours. Nathan's beautiful wife actually made the recommendation that maybe we should let people on the internet come up with, a name for this program. And I reminded her that the internet is a very, very mean place sometimes. And, it just basically you get a bunch of suggestions like, why these two guys eat John Goodman and then decide to talk about movies. That's the title. No. So we'll come up with the title, as time goes by.
Absolutely.
But I hope you guys get something out of this, and God bless. Excelsior. I've always wanted to say that. So.